If you want to see a detailed review about this specific dock from Acasis, you have found the perfect spot. If instead you wish to compare this dock with two very interesting alternatives, you may as well jump over to this comparison up here and watch it afterwards. This dock has its own unique twist, something that sets it apart from all the other docks out there. The manufacturer sent me this dock free of charge for testing, but as always, you'll only hear my honest opinion. This dock was designed specifically with the Mac Mini M4 and Mac Mini M4 Pro in mind, especially in terms of aesthetics. And chances are it'll fit right in with the upcoming Mac Mini M5 or M6 models too. Because let's be honest, Apple doesn't exactly change the Mac Mini design every year. The unit I'm showing you here is very different from another Acasis product that follows a completely separate design philosophy. If you're interested in that Enclosure style version, just check the link up here in the corner. I already covered it in a separate video. Anyway, back to the Acasis 40Gbps Mac Mini M4 dock and dual bay SSD enclosure. The name already gives away its two key features: 40 Gbps throughput and dual SSD bays. I wasn't sure at first whether it was Thunderbolt 3 or 4, since both deliver 40 Gbps, but after double checking with the manufacturer, it turned out to be Thunderbolt 3. So you don't get every single benefit of Thunderbolt 4, for example, proper daisy chain support, but in return you get two SSD slots that can be configured in different RAID modes, which is a really smart trade-off. The Acasis Mac Mini M4 dock M001 Pro is visually almost the perfect add-on for any Mac Mini setup, especially if you're about both performance and flexibility. The sturdy aluminum chassis not only gives it a premium feel, but also blends nicely into the rest of the setup. With two DisplayPort 3.1 connections, you can drive two monitors up to 4K 60Hz, ideal for creative professionals who don't necessarily need ultra-high refresh rate gaming displays. Those are more at home in the PC or PlayStation world anyway. Nonetheless, the RAID functionality supporting RAID 0 and 1 is one of the major highlights, similar to the Acasis Enclosure dock I mentioned earlier. You can configure two M.2 NVMe SSDs however you like, for better data security or maximum speed. The built-in fan provides efficient cooling even under heavy workloads. You need to be aware that there is a fan constantly running in the dock. You can feel a pleasant, cool airflow at the back, but acoustically the fan isn't particularly intrusive. It's simply no comparison to the fan noise of those old rattling gaming rigs with massive graphics cards. You can be sure of this. I listen very closely to things like this. So in short, sound design is okay. And speaking of fine details, there is also a slightly simpler version. Besides the M001 Pro EU, Acasis also makes the DS1101-EU. This alternative is not framed in aluminium like the Pro model, but I actually suspect the color tone and surface texture of the DS1101-EU might match the Mac Mini M4 even better. Because if you look very closely to the Pro model, the texture blend isn't completely seamless. Feature-wise, the M001 Pro EU clearly wins. It offers two display ports instead of just one HDMI port, plus the RAID option, giving much more flexibility for storage setups. On the other hand, the DS1101-EU comes with one extra USB-A port and skips the cooling fan to keep costs down. The active cooling of the Pro version, however, keeps the SSDs safely cool even under load, making it the better choice for anyone who values performance and long-term stability. By the way, one quick design anecdote. As you can see in the user manual, the M001-EU originally shipped with a kind of rigid link adapter, basically a bridge that connects the host adapter directly to a Thunderbolt 4 or 5 port on the Mac Mini. I personally love that design, super minimal, clean and elegant. So I was a bit surprised that my box included a short, flexible Thunderbolt 4 cable instead. If you're going minimal, then really go minimal. So I checked back with Acasis and I learned they in between had a prototype for a new connection design between the dock and the Mac Mini M4, and I was lucky they provided that prototype specifically for this video. This new piece honestly looks even better than the originally planned bridge, and it also has a real technical advantage. It connects directly to the outer dedicated Thunderbolt 4 or 5 port instead of the previous bridge design, which, because of its layout, plugged into the center DFU port, meaning the device firmware update port. The thing is that center port is also used for firmware updates and system recovery, and in certain situations that can reduce stability. I'm only telling you this because it shows Acasis seems to take customer feedback seriously and they are willing to improve existing products live on the fly. That means currently customers will likely be able to order this finalized prototype soon, and new customers will probably get the dock with this nice new Snake connector right away. So the whole setup feels even more rounded and solid. My other downside with this Acasis M001 Pro docking solution was reduced Wi-Fi connectivity. Because of that, I'd recommend using this dock mainly together with a stable wired LAN connection. Whether that's only an issue with the Pro version built using this cast aluminum frame, I can say. The Acasis Enclosure dock I tested earlier didn't have that problem at all, even though it fully surrounds the Mac Mini with aluminum. Summary. So, you've now seen, designed mainly for the Mac, the exact compatibility always depends on your specific setup. That's why for detailed information it's best to check the manufacturer's documentation, because there is no way to test every possible configuration on the planet. As you've seen, a wide range of connectivity options, but each one is still tailored to quite different use cases. If you prefer clean, understated elegance and want the design to blend seamlessly with a Mac Mini M4 and later maybe M5 or M6, the Acasis 40Gbps Mac Mini M4 dock and dual bay SSD enclosure may be an excellent fit. With its Thunderbolt 3 connector, you still get up to 40 Gbps and you can rely on the two built-in display ports. In the Pro version, the whole dock is made from solid aluminum. The two SSD slots offer different RAID options, so you can choose between maximum speed or higher data redundancy. A minor downside is that the aluminum finish does not match the Mac Mini M4 surface texture perfectly, which might bother some design purists, although it can also look very premium to have a Mac Mini sitting on a solid aluminum base full of ports. Using the dock, the Mac Mini can be powered on conveniently via a small integrated adapter button at the rear, and the two SSD status LEDs plus the high-speed SD 4.0 slots are neatly placed on the right side for easy access. About those Wi-Fi reception limitations caused by the Acasis dock mentioned earlier, honestly, one would have hoped the manufacturer should have noticed this before putting a product like this into mass production, especially because they've already shown keyword Acasis Enclosure dock that it can work perfectly fine without such limitations. But to be fair, anyone who wants to work in a more sustainable way and with less wireless radiation at the desk will probably choose a stable wired connection via LAN cable from the start. And by the way, it seems this issue doesn't necessarily show up for every user, so I'd really like to know if you're already using an M001-EU. Have you noticed anything similar? Some of you probably run several machines at once anyway. In this case, you simply connect one computer to the one dock and the other machine to a different dock. Or you'll go all in and build a Mac Mini Mega workstation. Thanks to the Thunderbolt ports on the back of the Mac Mini, the truly hardcore among you may even run 3 docks at the same time. Please follow my channel, like the video and share if you want.